Hey guys, Dronography here, and tomorrow we are flying to Iceland. Now, we have told this to a few people already, and they were quite curious to what we're going to bring with concerning gear, because we told them, of course, we're going to be on the go a lot, we're going to be traveling from A to Z a lot, and yeah. So today we're going to be talking about the top 6 things that we're going to be taking with, which we think are vital when it comes to being versatile, to practicality, and of course things that you might need as a backup. And if you're wondering if we were affected by WoW Air, yes, we got our flight cancelled for tomorrow, and we had to rebook it through another agency. Yeah, not so wow after all, is it now, WoW Air? Anyway guys, on the top 6 list, let's start with number 6 itself. It is a dongle. Now you might be thinking, oh Lucian, that's so boring. Well, guess what? It's not. This is very important. This is an item that we think is very important because when did you ever have the scenario where you had an empty SD card but you had no laptop with, your MacBook was not there, your I don't know, your computer wasn't there, so you only had your phone or an iPad. So what do you do with it? This is the reason why I think having an iPad and a dongle is always important, because you can drop off all your footage on either your iPad or your iPhone or your Samsung device. Of course, this is not only talking about lightning cabled dongles, this is for everyone. Just drop in your SD card and quickly transport a file if you need to. If you want to make a quick edit, if you quickly want to show something to a client, or if you want to upload something to Instagram directly, this is just great because you get the best quality without having the interference of problems that could be caused through Wi-Fi transfers. Meaning if your camera had internet connection, you try to connect it to your phone. I never had a success there. Either came out quite laggy or just didn't work out at all. Number 5. And no, these are not Tic Tacs, they are SD cards. SD cards are just vital to any of your shoots, whether you're going on a traveling journey or you're doing a proper shoot for a client. Just have many SD cards because there's so many chances of one failing, and you might not have it yet, maybe because you don't shoot enough, I don't know. But imagine you go to a shoot and all of a sudden you come home and then poof, one of your SD cards is corrupt. And of course you have those cameras that have double SD card slots. Some people just don't have that, and for a compensation for that, just have many smaller SD cards. And with smaller, I mean 32 gigabytes, 16 maybe, and just swap them out over a certain amount of time, because I already had that once, that when I was in Tokyo, I was filming the entire day, I lost everything for that one day because the SD card got corrupted. Of course you can get some of the files back, but it was only some of the files, and it was quite a pain in the butt when you lose some of the best shots that you did. Plus, these are not very expensive, and there are a lot of people who already say, yeah, go buy yourself a 128 gig card or a 256 gig card. I'm not really thinking that's the best choice. Just go for smaller cards, have many of them, and swap them out once in a while so that you can at least make sure that, okay, this SD card holds that shot or these shots. Just note it down on a piece of paper and swap them out. Plus they're very light, so they're perfect for traveling, they're super cheap, and in case you lose one, just buy a new one. They're super versatile, just take them with to any of your trips. The next thing that I think you should take with in case you bring a laptop is actually a expandable storage device. When I shoot at least 10, 15, 20 gigabytes at a time, and sometimes I don't have a lot of space on my SD cards, so where do I place them? On my 2 terabyte storage device. I think it's great. I think it is price-wise 60-70 euro. It's lightweight, you can take it with. Just make sure you have it in a case and it doesn't bounce around everywhere, because you might destroy the insides if it's still a hard drive inside and not an SSD. Just take it with. It is very important, and especially when you go on trips. Just store off all your footage here and it's safe, and just format your cards. It is the ideal thing to do. And if you have 2 of them, of course, great, make a backup. A backup doesn't hurt at all. Of course, meaning this is already a backup from your SD cards, but a backup to the hard drive, of course, is a better backup. So 3 backups, why not? Coming to number 3 on the list is a automated slider. And with an automated one, I mean it has a little motor on it, it moves from left to right, and when it hits the end, it just bounces back again. Now you might be thinking, why this one? Why the Grip Gear 2? And in case you don't know the Grip Gear is a very cheap alternative to very expensive sliders, and it's a very good device to get into the topic of sliders that have a motor on it. It gives you a feeling of how to use it with smaller cameras. This is only meant to carry the biggest camera as a small SLR, a mirrorless SLR, and it is very good build. It is solid metal on both sides, and the best part is, and why we're taking it with to Iceland, you can just pop it off, unscrew the middle, and boop, very good, very small. And just in case you're wondering how big the entire part is, it is just 30 centimeters up and down, and this is just ideal. It is something that I cannot recommend more. I know it's not as good as the more professional sliders, but taking it on in a backpack, this is a little bit easier. Plus a little lighter, and I think it's a little bit more versatile. And in case it falls off a rock, it's only $100. You can just replace it like that with not thinking twice. And if you're wondering why we're taking this actually with as well, we're just taking this with in case I want to do some shots where I don't want to be there with the camera all the time. I just want to let it do its own thing. I will make sure that it just pans from left to right on its own speed, making sure that I can get the time lapses I want in case I want to get something a little bit more different, just some still shots on a tripod. I think this is just a great alternative, and this is what I want to work on. Now you might be thinking, what would be a number 2 that is maybe not as light, or maybe that is crazy, and now you might be thinking I'm stupid for still owning this, but it is the Phantom 4 Pro, not the V2, even though it could be the V2 because it's the same body, same shell, same size, same dimensions. The reason why I'm using this drone still is to get some amazing shots. I love drone work. I love having control of how the camera moves in all angles, in all axes, up, down, left, right, do whatever you want with it. And once you master how to use a drone, it is just phenomenal what you can get out of the shots. Create your own tempos to create something spectacular, and I think the scenery in Iceland is going to be spectacular for this. And I think bringing no drone is a lost cause for most cases, because I think you cannot see the beauty of Iceland from just the ground. I think you have to see it from the sky, and that's why I'm bringing the Phantom 4 Pro. Now you might be asking, why do I still own the Phantom 4 Pro and I'm not bringing something such as a Mavic? It's purely because it's still a tool. This shoots 4K 60, while the Mavic 2 Pro with the Hasselblad sensor does not. It only shoots up to 30. And you might again be thinking, okay, that's enough. At the end of the day, if I ever need, or I have all of a sudden a client that comes out of nowhere and says, I need 4K 60 frames per second footage, can you deliver it? And I'm like, yes, I have it. Try that with your Mavic 2. Yeah, you know, it's just those moments. And sometimes you do have those spontaneous clients, you know, you're just flying a drone for fun and someone says, oh, can you do this? You know, this is how you build up relationships, and this is why I always prefer to take the Phantom 4 Pro. I have it since 2 years. It never failed me yet, and especially with the new blades from the V2, it's a nice, silent, and perfect drone to own and to bring to Iceland, because you put it in a backpack, it's going to be nice and ready to go within 2 minutes of setup, and you can fly away. And last but not least, it's a tool that I always love bringing along to any project, to any scenario, to any trip. It is the gimbal. You might be saying a gimbal is not the ideal tool to bring anywhere, but in this day and age, smooth, silent, and very slow shots they just look amazing, and I'm a real fan of it. And I've achieved the best shots by owning a gimbal. This particular version being the Crane 2 by Xeon. It has been a sturdy machine. The battery life is phenomenal. I only have to charge the battery once and I can use it the entire day, up to 12 hours. It's fantastic. And this is the practicality to why I also want to bring it to Iceland, just because of the battery life. It's just fantastic. It does exactly what I needed it to do. And what else should I say? It explains it by itself. It stabilizes your shots, nothing more. But at the end of the day, it's what you do with your camera that makes the magic happen. It's not the gimbal, it's not the camera, it's just how you use all the tools together. It's like a painter. It's what brushes do you use for what paintwork. It makes all sense, you know, if you think about it. But if you put this in the back of your backpack, this is not going to break your back, unlike some other bigger gimbals like the Ronin M and its bigger brothers and sisters. This is a one-handed gimbal that I think is great. And I'm not saying anything bad about the Ronin S. I would say it's the same. I would also recommend that gimbal. And of course, even the cheaper ones. At the end of the day, like I say many times, and to a lot of my friends, what you do with your stuff, they can make a product, a video, unique or not. So yeah, guys, these are the top 6 things that I would take with to Iceland. These are the general things that I would consider taking with, because I like to be lightweight, I like to be transportable, and if I have to set something up, time is, I'm not going to say money, but light. We're still in the winter season, and if you don't have a lot of light, yeah, 1 minute can make the difference between you filming the sunset and looking at the sun already being gone. It's a little bit of disappointment, but I've had that many of times, and I think time is very important when setting things up. And of course, these are not the things that I would say, and these are the must things to have. These are just the things that I like. And maybe if you want, maybe you bring something along as well. Just put it in the comments below. We'd really be curious to what you would bring along to a trip like Iceland or any other trip, let's say even Taiwan. As long as it makes you happy, that's great. Just tell us what you think about it, and yeah, we look forward to your responses. And I hope you look forward as well to our video coming up in the next week of our trip in Iceland. Catch you then.